Well, Shabbat Shalom, and welcome no matter what you're covering your head with. Well, Shabbat Shalom, welcome everyone, all for here, and I'm sure more joining us on the live stream. I am Rabbi Jenny Greenspan here at Beth-El in Indianapolis. You all know that. But welcome if you are joining us on the live stream and would like to follow along in the prayer book with us. You can go to bez613.org and then under the worship menu, select Shabbat and then scroll down to the resources for Friday night, where you should be able to get a PDF of our Sidur Kol HaNeshama. For those here in person, they should be in the seats right in front of you. And we will begin our service with a welcoming of Shabbat, a welcoming of the angels, with Shalom Aleichem on page 13. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharetz, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Borchem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As we've welcomed in the angels of Shabbat, we acknowledge the light of Shabbat with our Shabbat candle blessing. If you'd like to follow along, it is on page 5 in the prayer book. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. As we breathe in the light of Shabbat, welcome Shabbat, we'll turn to page 35 for Psalm 99 for the final two lines in the Hebrew when we say, exalt the name of the infallible one. Enjoy the divine moment with Romemu, page 35, the last two lines of the Hebrew with the asterisk at the very bottom. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. So we're learning a new melody. We turn to page 49. We say it's good to thank God. The psalm added each week as a psalm for Shabbat, saying it is good to thank God, good to be grateful for all that we have. Good to notice the beautiful world around us. Let's do the opening together, page 49. Mizmor shir leyom ha-Shabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor shir leyom ha-Shabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי אסור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. Turn back to page 41 for Lecha Dodi, a beloved poem for Shabbat, where we welcome in Shabbat as though a bride. So we'll do the first 4 verses, pages 41 and 43 together, and then we will rise and welcome in Shabbat at the entrance to this chapel or to whatever room that you are in. We'll welcome in Shabbat. But we'll start on page 41. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. 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 Shamor vezachor vedivor echad, Hishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad ushemo echad, Leshem hu tiferet velithilah. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor habracha, mehirosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshava tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech ir melucha, kul mitzei mitoch hafecha, rav lach shevek be'emek havacha, vehu yachamol alaychem la. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Hitznari me'afar kumi, livshi bigdei tifartecha mi, al yad ben yishai beit halachmi, korva al nafshi ge'ala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Take a moment to turn to each other and say Shabbat Shalom as we wave and hug, as we're mostly one family. And we say Shabbat Shalom and Hine Matov U'Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov U'Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov U'Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov U'Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. And as we are quite a minyan, I guess we'll go ahead and be seated, and we'll join in the English on page 58. Blessed are you, Eternal One, our God, sovereign of all worlds, by whose word the evenings fall. In wisdom you open heaven's gates. With divine discernment you make seasons change, causing the times to come and go, and ordering the stars on their appointed paths through heaven's dome, all according to your will. Creator of the day and night, who rolls back light before the dark and dark before the light, who makes the day pass away and brings on night, dividing between day and night. The leader of the throngs of heaven is your name. Living and enduring God, rule over us now and always. Blessed are you, Almighty One, who makes the evenings fall. El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Amari Varavim. And continue on page 63 with Ahavat Olam. Gratitude for the love God shows with this tradition that brings us together this evening. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta al kein Adonai Eloheinu v'shochveinu u'vekumeinu nasiach v'chukecha v'nismach v'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla me'avatecha lo tasur mimenu le'olamim baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. We'll rise as we turn to page 65 for the declaration of the oneness of our God. We'll do Shema and Ve'ahavta together aloud and continue with selected biblical verses on the following pages quietly. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, Adonai Elohechem Emet. You may be seated as we turn to page 79 for the Mi Chamocha, a celebration of freedom that we'll really be celebrating this coming just a week from tonight until our first Seder. So we will be indeed celebrating this moment of freedom quite soon at page 79 for Mi Chamocha. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, malachotecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe, za'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed, ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. As we turn to Hashkivenu, we say, help us to lie down, dear one, our God, in peace, and let us rise again. And so we hold on to this moment as an opportunity to pray for healing, to pray for wellness, to pray for strength. This week, I know as a community, we pray for the healing of Shirley Steinman, of Larry Baker, Levi Chisholm, Brian Domer, Amy Maurer-Martin, Lindsay Yagi, Jane Bashir, Aaron Greenwald, Ron Safran, Ariel Shoshana Bat Esther Zelda, Helene Waldman, Sue Baker, Diane Marie Reisman, Andrew Whitson, Dan Stillerman, Freda Burns, Rory Sandberg, Amanda Batya Messinger, Jamshid Sharifi, Marty Lewis, Herb Heller, Dr. Martin Tamler, Sandra Siegel, Debbie Mishkin, Freddie Kasif, Molly English, Carol Tandy, Pearl Regan-Streif, and Carl Goodfellow, and all who are still coping with the spreading virus around the world, and any other names we want to hold on to. Elliot Nelson. So we turn. And so we'll turn for our prayer for healing, I believe still up in a previous song sheet if you are joining from home, or on the back of our pamphlet for this evening service if you are here. Mi shebeirach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi shebeirach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Dear God, please guard our coming and our going forth each day for life and for peace, now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace and the shelter of your healing. Turn now to page 85 for the Veshamru, verses inviting us into Shabbat. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Let's turn to page 88 as we prepare ourselves for the silent Amidah, which we'll rise for in a moment. But let's first read a meditation to open ourselves up. The second on the page, love Rabbi Sandy, put the other one. The second paragraph on the page beneath the two asterisks. Dear God, open the blocked passageways to you, the congealed places. Roll away the heavy stone from the well as your servant Jacob did when he beheld his beloved Rachel. Help us to open the doors of trust that have been jammed with hurt and rejection. As you open the blossom in spring, even as you open the heavens in storm, open us to feel your great, awesome, wonderful presence. Take a few moments, we'll rise, for our silent Amidah, which can be found in our prayer book beginning on page 91 in the Hebrew, page 90 in the English, or using the words of your own heart as we reflect on the week we've had. I'll invite us all to please rise for our silent Amidah, page 90 through page 106. If you are still praying your silent Amidah, please feel free to continue to do so. Otherwise, you may be seated as we sing Oseh Shalom in the bottom of the Hebrew or English or transliteration on page 107. Oseh Shalom Imromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Imromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. So this particular Shabbat in the calendar has a special name. It is in fact a special Shabbat. Does anyone happen to know what Shabbat this Shabbat is? Shabbat Hagadol, yes. Shabbat Hagadol means the great Shabbat, the big Shabbat. And what's funny is since the 12th century, I was reading earlier this week, people have been trying to figure out why, what makes it so big and so great. But generally speaking, it is the Shabbat leading up to Pesach. This is the last Shabbat before Pesach. Pesach, we've got one more week to get our shopping in order and clean our kitchens. And I'm trying not to raise the anxiety level in the room on Shabbat, but But we have a full week this time. Shabbat HaGadol sometimes means you only have a couple of days. This week, at least, it's the full week to get there. And traditionally, it used to be the day where the rabbi would give the longest sermon of the year. That was not Kol Nidre, that was Shabbat HaGadol. Tomorrow morning, not tonight, but still. And that has changed in recent years, though some will still give a little bit of Pesach. So I'm going to share a teaching that I actually found in the back of our Siddur about Pesach this evening as we get ourselves ready. If you want to read it along with me, it's on page 811. I am not sure if the PDF, if you're joining online, goes all the way that far. So I will read it aloud to make sure if you're joining on live stream, you get a chance to hear it. But if you are here in person, I am all the way in the back of our book on page 811. Rabbi Yitzchak Levi of Berdichev comments that the true miracle of the Exodus, the great miracle, Shabbat HaGadol, in fact took place on the 10th of Nisan, not later, not on the 15th, which is when we actually celebrate Pesach. Because that was when Israel decided that they would slaughter the sheep, which according to tradition were gods in Egypt, without regard for what the Egyptian taskmasters would say or do to them, and their liberation had begun. That God can wreak plagues, split the sea, and all the rest, these are no source of surprise to a person of faith. But Israel's courage to defy the Egyptians, that is what is truly worthy of being called miraculous. So I think Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev teaches us here is that the liberation of Pesach, what we celebrate when we celebrate on Passover and our Seder's next Friday night, we celebrate the moment of actually leaving Egypt, the moment where Pharaoh gives up, fine, go, leave, and all of the plagues. But these on the 10th of Nisan, 5 days earlier, so that's 2 days from today instead of a week from today, the Israelites had the courage to say, we're going to start. We're going to do what God asks of us in this case, and we are going to start. And we are going to begin the process of freeing ourselves. So as we head into Pesach next week, I invite us all to take a moment in the next few days to say, what is it this year that we are going to free ourselves from? Within ourselves, around us, what are we going to free ourselves from? Perhaps it's something within ourselves that holds us back sometimes or believes that we're not ready for something. Perhaps it is a situation in our lives that we could get ourselves out of. Let's this week, as we get ready for liberation, for freedom, have the courage to begin to free ourselves. And so as a song for inspiration tonight, I want to invite us to go to 848 to a teaching of Rabbi Nachman of Bretzlav, not as opposed to Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev. Yeah, we've got some Hasidic friends here. On page 848, Kol ha'olam kulo, the whole world is a very narrow bridge, but the essential thing is to have no fear at all, to begin to free ourselves. So this week, as we begin Pesach, figuring out what we're going to free ourselves from, we're going to go down the bridge, and we are not going to feel afraid at all. Page 848. Kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tsar meod, gesher tsar meod, gesher tsar meod. Kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tsar meod, gesher tsar meod. והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל, והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל. כל העולם כולו, גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד. כל העולם כולו, גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד. May this season of liberation, may we find the bridges that we need to cross and free ourselves to cross them. can turn back to the Shabbat portion of our prayer book now to page 119 for the Kiddush, and I'll invite us to please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotam me'eretz avanu v'shavat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher hetziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol amim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. Oh, I've had my say. Do I have a volunteer for Motzi? She gets to take the challah home if she doesn't. I'll do it with you if you need me to. Avery Fox will do her Motzi, which means she gets to you can pick it up, uncover it. You can pick up just the challah itself. You don't have to actually pick up the tray.
With the foil? Or?
That's up to you. Once you touch it, it's yours. So.
Do it your way. There you go.
Okay. Ready? Well, I'll do it with her. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Now you get to take a piece of it, eat it, and then take it home.
The whole thing?
Yes, the whole thing. That's the new rule. So if you touch the challah, you have to take it. So take a bite. Take a bite, wrap the rest. Take a bite, wrap the rest. And the real reason I let her do it is so that I can have us continue with Aleinu. We'll remain standing as we turn to Aleinu on page 121. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol latet gedula leotzer breshit shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot velo samanu kemishpechot adama shelo sam chelkenu kahem vegoralenu kechol hamonam vanachnu korim ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ ומושב יקרם השמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגובי מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו אפס עולתו כך כתוב בתורתו וידעת היום השבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד. I'll invite us all to remain standing this week as we include amongst the yard sites we honor this week Rabbi Milton Steinberg, the first rabbi, as we were one of the first rabbis here as Beth-El Zedek together, who served the community from 1927 to 1933. So we keep him as a memory of the foundation of this wonderful congregation here. And so we include him in our and stand as a community. We also extend sincere condolences and sympathies to all bereaved families and members of the congregation who are observing Shloshim, the first month of mourning for Devorah Rose Gervitz and for Jason Richard Faust. Because we know in reciting the Mourner's Kaddish that we affirm our awareness of holiness in our world. We know that much of our experience of divine goodness, grace, and love has come to us through those whose lives have touched our own, those we knew, and those who laid foundations for us. I invite us all to join in the Mourner's Kaddish, page 131. Yitgadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari ve'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ulmei amaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitba'ar ve'yitramam ve'yitnaseh ve'yitadar ve'yitaleh ve'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu le'ela min kol birchata ve'shirata tushbechata ve'nechemata da'amiran be'alma ve'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabba min shemaya ve'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen. May all those memories be for a blessing, and we may be seated. In the way of announcements this evening, we do have coming up on Tuesday, the Brundi Bar performance, a premiere screening and discussion will be on Tuesday, April 12th at 7 p.m. here at Beth-El Zedek. It will be the Indianapolis Opera and Beth-El Zedek together inviting you to tour from the Children Holocaust exhibit and the Brundibar and Vedem Outreach Art exhibit, followed by the premiere screening of the opera's performance of Brundibar. Guests are welcome to stay for a talkback session after the performance with Holocaust survivor Frank Grunwald, stage director Matt Cooksey, and Indianapolis Opera's artistic advisor, Alfred Savia. It's a free event supported by the Feigenbaum Musical Arts Fund. Do RSVP to Jackie Goldstein so that we have a rough number of people to have here, but we do invite you to come. It will be a very meaningful program and an opportunity to really learn and grow together. And will not be live streamed because it will be not in one of the rooms that we have one of the live stream cameras. So we do hope that you can come join us here in person at 7 o'clock on Tuesday. Also coming up, there's a Zoom program the following evening through the JCC with Rabbi Sandy Sasso. I'm reading too quickly here. With Rabbi Sandy Sasso and Brent Bill on giving voice to our spiritual lives through children's books. So we'll look ahead for those. And in case you didn't have enough going on and you wanted to come and join us for Friday evening services next week, we will in fact encourage you to enjoy your Seder at home. So we won't have Friday evening services here next week because we know that it's time. After a couple of years, I know many of us are now getting to have a larger Seder than we've had in the last few years. And even if it's not a large Seder and you're joining virtually still, we do want to give everyone the opportunity to really enjoy your Seder together. So we won't be having Friday evening services here next week so that you can have your Seder at home without feeling obligated to be here too. And hope that you enjoy your Seder together. But do join us for Shabbat/Passover morning services next Saturday morning. Again, as usual, in person or on the live stream. The following Friday morning for the 7th day of Pesach, we'll have a service also at 10 a.m., which will include Yesker. So those are the comings up over the next couple of weeks, and we hope to see you, or to at least be seen by you if you are joining us from the live stream. I think that's all I really have for announcements this evening, so we can conclude our service with Yigdal on page 135. יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח, נמצא ונט על מציאותו, אחד ואין יחיד כייחודו, נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו, אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף, לא נערוך אליו קדושתו, קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא, ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו, כינו אדון עולם וכל נוצר, יורה גדולתו ומלכותו, שפע נבואתו נתנו אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו, לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד, נביא ומביט את תמונתו, תורת נתן לעמואל, על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו, לא יחליף האל ולא ימיר דתו, לעולמים לזולתו, צופה ויודע צאצאינו, מביט לסוף דבר וקדמתו, גומל איש חסד כמפעלו, ייתן לרשע כרישתו, ישלח לקץ ימים גאולתו, לפדות מחי כקץ ישועתו, חיים מקלקל ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו, חיים מקלקל ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for being here, for being online. Shabbat Shalom. And almost Pesach Sameach, but getting there.